Hey gang, welcome back. Stick around, this week we're hiking the Hoh Rainforest. Welcome to What Doin'. We're Deb and Aaron, two retirees originally from Washington State who love to travel the country, make new friends, have new adventures, scuba dive, hike, cook, and just about anything outdoors. Come along for the ride. You never know what kind of crazy adventures we're going to get mixed up in, and you never know what doing. After the 3-hour drive north from Olympia, we decided to start with the Hall of Mosses Trail. It's a short trail at 0.8 of a mile, but there's so much beauty packed into that you really won't mind the shortness of it. Like all of our hikes, it basically starts with a cougar warning telling you to look out because you could get eaten on the trail. I gotta tell you, if I'm gonna get attacked by a cougar, this might not be the worst place in the world to do it. I mean, who am I to complain for a place that gets 12 feet of rain a year, but when we visit in February, it's so nice the trees are steaming. And speaking of the trees, here's your geek warning for the video. There's 3 basic types of fir trees in the park. The Sitka spruce, which average about 220 feet tall but can grow up to over 300 feet, that have the sharp needles on the branches. There's the western hemlock with their drooping tops, and the Douglas fir with the deep furrowed bark all the way around. I think the squirrels prefer the stumps myself. But even with the giant towering trees, I think the most spectacular ones are the big leaf maples. Especially during the fall, the time of year that we're here, when the leaves are gone, you really start to see the moss hanging from the trees. Walking the Hall of Mosses Trail is like taking a giant step back in time. In fact, it's been written that since Olympic National Park was created in 1938 to preserve what is described as the finest example of a primeval forest, its purpose has been the permanent protection of the herds of native Roosevelt elk. The whole valley from the park boundary clear to Mount Olympus looks much like it has for the past 5,000 years. Of the park's estimated 3,000 to 4,000 elk, about 500 live in the Hoh Valley today. As you hike the trail, take a minute to look at some of the logs and the trees that are down. You start to get a sense of just how big they are. In fact, that's a size 13 hiking boot. It's small compared to the butt of the tree. When you look through here, look for the rest of the logs that are down, and you realize just how much they give back. The grazing elk keep the understory open, and the dead and the downed trees decay slowly, which provides nutrients and supports new life as the nurse logs. Okay, here's geek alert number 2 for you. Club moss is a lot of what you're seeing on the video, and it hangs on the boughs but feeds only on the air and light around it. The rainforest supplies enough moisture and wind-borne nutrients to keep it alive. Check out the drops on each of these. It wasn't raining the day we were there and hadn't rained for a day or 2 prior. I can just about guarantee that you won't be disappointed leaving the parking lot and taking on the Hall of Mosses Trail. Although it's short, it's a good way to get out and stretch the legs. Then it's back to the parking lot for a quick snack, change the packs, and head up the Hoh River Trail. The 50-mile-long Hoh River begins in Olympic National Park high up on glacier-capped Mount Olympus. It descends over 7,000 feet to the Pacific Ocean and is fed by snowmelt and rain along the way. Our plan was to hike about 3.5 miles up the trail along the Hoh River to the first set of waterfalls. The trail winds its way along above the river, and about a mile in you come down to the first spot where you can get down to the river itself. It's a great place to stop, take a little break, sit on a log, and watch the water as it rushes by. In the winter months, the river meanders down to the ocean, leaving sandbars and gravel bars for us to enjoy and walk on. One of the benefits of having those gravel bars is you get to see who else is sharing the riverbeds with you. Rather than the big cats, I think I'll stick to the little squirrels. If you notice this guy, he sits there fairly often. Look at the pile of seeds underneath him. We made it to the falls and the turnaround point for this hike. As we watched the water coming down, I realized just how lucky we are to live in the Pacific Northwest. To live in a place where you can hike, bike, scuba dive, do a ton of things outdoors, and have the beauty and the majesty of the area that we live in. We took one last look at the blowing moss hanging from the trees and made our way back to the trailhead. We had one more stop on the way home, though. I can't really imagine making a trip down the Washington coast on Highway 101 without a stop at Ruby Beach. One of the most beautiful beaches on the coast. I could spend all day here, and maybe we will the next time up. I agree with what the National Park Service says about this area. In a world of diminishing resources, this forest has become valuable to people for many reasons. The beauty and tranquility found here is one of the country's rare treasures. It's a gift of ocean, rain, river, mountains, and the wisdom of past generations. It's ours to cherish and care for in return. Keep an eye out for us. If we don't see you on the trail, we'll see you somewhere down the road, because you never know what doing.